I was really fortunate. Like it was right at the cusp of Instagram taking off. So growth was really good and really organic. And no one else was really doing it that much in the space. Certainly not in Australia, but even I would argue the world.
How did I score an interview with one of Australia's prominent blue tick verified creators? Simple. I sent him an email, and within 7 minutes, he wrote back. I've definitely seen you on my For You page calling out Urban List. Follow Super some followers. Issac Eats a Lot is by far the most genuine person you'll find on the internet. And he's a trailblazer for all us foodie creators out there in the world, and it was an honor to record this interview with him, as well as meet with him in person on various occasions.
I'm here with Issac Eats a Lot, who I interviewed for a podcast, which I'm still editing.
Nearly 12 months later, and I'm finally finished with the editing. Enjoy this episode of the God Given Talent podcast.
So long story short, like I was a pastry chef, and so I had like a social media account where I was posting pictures of stuff that I was making. No one cared, like dead in the pan. But I was sharing stuff like that I was proud of. My hobby at the same time that I was doing that stuff was competitive eating. So I would just, amateur photos, horrible angles, lighting, but like started posting big burgers, huge pizzas, large amounts of food. Obviously the internet liked that stuff more than my handcrafted stuff. 2018, maybe 2019, I did a food challenge with some friends, and the next day my appendix burst. And that's when I kind of realized that there's no longevity in doing eating challenges and stupid sized foods. So I realized that if you want to have a longer career, or I say career, like a long longevity in this space, you need to be doing things that are more sustainable. And everyone eats 3 meals a day. So if you eat 3 meals a day that are regular size, but you can generate content and review, get 3 reviews out a day, then you're laughing.
Out of all the other food creators out there, what's separating you from them? Like, I mean, I guess your genuineness is probably one of them, but is there anything else you would label?
Nah, like when I started, certainly, like there was that individuality of doing the big over the top stuff, and then as sort of TikTok has developed and Instagram's my TikTok style is different to my Instagram style. Like my Instagram style is pigeonholed towards burgers and sort of stuff like that. Whereas TikTok, because it was a clean slate, a fresh start, no followers, I could be a bit more diverse from the beginning. And so I've got probably more personality in the TikTok content than the Instagram stuff. And people are responding really well to it because of that, genuineness.
When I look at a lot of other food creators, it is a lot of them just showcasing the food, but you never know who the people are behind these accounts.
You might not have as big a following at the moment, but the content you're putting out is like really good. Even I tend not to follow interstate foodies because I hate seeing a plethora of places that I can't go to. But it comes back to that genuineness. Like you're not afraid to stick a jab into the mass media and sort of poke and prod. Like I love that.
Well, I never really understand what's more awkward, right? Eating in a really busy restaurant trying to film content, or eating in a half-empty restaurant where like everything you do is
watched.
Yeah, and like quite obvious.
The awkward thing is like when you're reviewing to camera, you kind of have to tell yourself to talk. Like in a normal dining situation, whether you love it or hate it, you don't verbalize, or I don't think you respond with visual signs. Like I've eaten some amazing food, but usually it's a family meal or something, and you enjoy it. Like you actually savor it, you enjoy it. So when you're recording or you're reviewing something in a public setting, the first thing is you kind of have to accentuate whatever your response is. And then the other awkward thing is like I work on both sides of hospitality. Like I'm working with the venues, but then I'm a customer, like a reviewer of the food. So if you slam something, like if it's a very bad reaction, it can have adverse reactions for the venue long term. And then if you overreact in a positive way, it can come off as insincere or, you're bunging it on type thing.
So have you been invited somewhere and obviously given a free meal and everything and it just wasn't good? Is that been the case for you?
Just the other day I went to, and I'm not going to obviously say any names, but like it was a PR, so like a media company had invited me on behalf of the product that they were doing a campaign for. And I went and I ate the product, and I'm even friends with the owner of the venue. And I ate the product, and I went up afterwards, and I was like, I'm gonna pay for it. And they're like, no, like it's free, like it's all covered through the invite. I was like, no, I'm gonna pay for it. I wasn't a fan of it. I'm not gonna post it. Sorry. And they were like, oh, like they were apologetic, and I was like, look, it is what it is. Like the dish is what you said it would be. It's not like anything's wrong. It's just I didn't like it. So if I post it and I say I liked it and it was good, then I hurt my own credibility. And if I post it and say I didn't like it, then I'm not doing anything good for the brand or the PR company or the venue that have asked me to help promote it. So I just, figured that it was a square ledger. Like I didn't get the food for free. I paid for it. Then I had no owing I needed to promote it or say anything that I would be caught on record as lying about or sort of embellishing the truth. And everyone was, we all walked away square. Like no one was out of pocket or offended, or for the most part, I try really hard. Like I would rather not post something negative than post it and review it negatively for clickbait. Because unless something like is genuinely wrong or it gets under my skin, or like I said, in a whole review perspective, like I nail something and say it was shit, but other things were good, then just being negative about something is really not, benefiting anyone, because it's like I'm still promoting the venue, which is just redundant. Like I'm literally just spreading the word, don't go somewhere. Unless you're going to be, it's a comparative review or it's something that's just hype and you've got to, the demand for you to go is undeniable, then I would rather go somewhere, that was shit. Tell them that was shit. Sorry, I'm not going to post it. I can't post it. Give them feedback and then come again. And more often than not, if it's the second time, I might post something.
A huge thank you again to Issac for taking the time to speak with me, a good friend. And if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, comment below, I like this podcast.